Hi, it's Sabo Boy with a spoiler review for all of Evangelion. This has spoilers for every single anime, so if there's something you haven't watched, you can just skip my review and find something that you have watched and look at that review. I will cover all of the big titles first, and then I'll go into the spin-off stuff. In my last video, I actually had somebody point out, I said Evangelion, which is not the correct pronunciation. It's actually Evangelion. I actually just watched a documentary called 1231 Days with Hideaki Anno. It was a documentary where a person was like a fly on the wall. That's a specific type of filmmaking. And they just pointed a camera at Hideaki Anno while he worked on the last Rebuild movie. And the person filmed 1,231 days of just him working and then took the good stuff and showed it to the audience in a documentary. But the staff pronounced it Evangelion. So yeah, it's Evangelion and I was saying it wrong.
一つだけ分かってるのは庵野さんが書いて庵野さんが作ってるものじゃなければエヴァンゲリオンではないっていうことだけしか分かんないし。
I'm really excited for this video because I get to talk about Evangelion's weird endings and timelines and stuff. There's so many things that can be either really confusing or really enlightening depending on who's watching it. Like, I don't know of any franchise that can create more varying opinions than Evangelion. Hideaki Anno actually designed the show so that everyone can have a unique perspective on it. He didn't want anybody to have like a true, like actual opinion. That's why there's so much symbolism. That's why there's ambiguous endings. It's because the audience is supposed to make up part of the story. He wants the audience to fill the holes and come up with their own ideas. So this will be my perspective on Evangelion, but if you have a different opinion than me, that's great. Like, everybody can have their own perspective, especially with a franchise like Evangelion. Talking about Evangelion 1995, I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10 on Letterboxd. You can use the link in the description to follow me if you want. The episode-to-episode variation of Evangelion 1995 is crazy. It's almost like Phineas and Ferb, where it's just like every episode feels distinctly different from each other. Like, there's the one where Asuka, like, wears this inflated suit and dives into a volcano. Like, where did that come from? You have this episode that's like this spy thriller almost, where they're trying to infiltrate the CERN facility because it's like in lockdown mode. Then there's a recap episode in the middle, and that episode was really weird because 13 minutes of it was recap, but then it switches to having 8 minutes of original content, which just made no sense in my mind, because if you're airing a TV show in Japan, like this one was, then you will have audience that tunes in at the beginning and they'll see the first minute is a recap and they're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just turn off the TV. Like, it's a recap episode, I don't need to watch it. But they won't stay for 13 minutes where, boom, it randomly switches to original content. So I was really concerned that, like, the episode after the recap, people will just walk into it blind and not have the information that they're supposed to have from the earlier 8 minutes. It's so dumb. Like, you have to just do 100% recap or 100% original content. Like, splitting it half and half is not a good idea. There's also some Christian symbolism in Evangelion. Like, you've got the angels, you've got Adam. There's some things that are similar to Christianity, but Hideaki Anno says he isn't religious. He just thought that their symbols were cool, so he put them in. There's a thing called like a seraphim, which is this huge angel that has 6 wings, and it is supposed to like symbolize the end of the world or whatever. And he throws that in there for the very, very end, like episode 24 of this show. But in the end, the Christian symbolism doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't think he meant a lot by it. I think he just likes the aura of having a giant robot with 6 wings on its back. For the most part, I treated the TV show like a popcorn show. I didn't really care too much about it, but it was fun to watch. Like robots beating up angels, like let's go. But I was surprised at the end of the show, they leaned really heavy into some backstory and some lore, and I thought it was super good. Like, there's the fact that Misato's dad was actually a lab technician who worked on the Evangelion project and created an accident that blew up Antarctica and created the second impact. Like, that's awesome. Like, well, that story is super cool. And then there's Evas, which are actually clones, and they're living beings that are derived from Adam, who is said to be a god, which means that humanity found a way to clone actual God and created them into weapons. I think that the angels are coming to Earth to destroy Tokyo 3 because that's where they think the clones are being created. They know that Adam has been stolen or that has been found and is being used to create clones. So the angels are descending to Earth and trying to get Adam back to stop the clones from producing. You may recall that Kaoru is technically an angel. I believe he said he wanted to visit Earth because he thought it would be fun and he was curious to see what was going on. So I think that supports this idea that I have that the angels are trying to get back Adam because Kaoru is an angel and admits that he was curious to see what was happening on Earth. Rei has some great lore, like the fact that she was created after Gento's wife died, and that a character says, wow, Rei looks a lot like Gento's wife. And it's and then there's the fact that Gento spends way too much time with Rei, and he uses her as his emotional support animal, basically. And I can say that because Rei isn't actually a human being. Rei is actually a clone. Like, she's created for the purpose of fulfilling Gento's desires. In the 23rd episode of the show, Ritsuko says, "The Evas are intrinsically soulless, so we imbue them with one. They're cobbled together with salvaged material. The only vessel that contained a soul was Rei. Only her. She was born with a soul." And so the idea is that the cloning technology they had developed for the Evas was modified to create Rei, and Rei has 20 copies of her that were just sitting in the basement in some orange liquid. She's not a human. And also the fact that the Evas are intentionally made to have 0 soul, that's purposeful so that the Evangelion pilots can insert their soul into the body, and so that they can control the soulless body. Rei is the only Eva that has a soul, and her soul can be used to go inside of other soulless Evas, except she doesn't know. It's so crazy, actually. And now I'm going to talk about the last 2 episodes of the show. I thought episode 26 was pretty good, and then I thought episode 25 was really bad. Episode 25 is like a recap. It has this weird thing where everybody sits in a chair and then it goes over their backstory and it's like, oh, so you did this, so you're actually an awful person. None of it was original. It was telling me things I already knew, but the very end, the last part has Asuka, and it says that Asuka's mother tried to kill her when she was a kid, which is what? Holy crap. And so I thought the reveal there was interesting where, Asuka's mom was basically insane. But I didn't like most of the episode because it's just a recap of stuff we already knew. The 26th episode, that's the one that ends with the congratulations scene. I thought the congratulations scene was super cool. Like, that was a really, really good moment, especially with especially when Pen Pen is clapping. Like, why is he there? But something about this episode that I liked is it used production materials to tell the story. Like, the animation regresses to tiny pencil drawings, and then some of the animation was actually really good there. And it's like telling a story of Shinji's character, like going down to his roots. Like, who am I? Like, what am I doing? Like, how can I move on? And then after that experience, he determines for himself that maybe I am a bad person. Maybe I should feel guilty for what I did in episode 24 to Kaoru. But that doesn't mean that I can't move on and try to be better. And so after he realizes that, the celebration happens. And it's a celebration of Shinji realizing that he can move on with his life and become a better person. That's what I got out of episode 26, and I think it is a good episode. Like, I don't think it's bad at all. I think most of what is bad is just episode 25. And it is weird that the ending is ambiguous, but I have something that I learned from watching the Hideaki Anno documentary. Hideaki Anno doesn't like completeness. He enjoys things that are broken, and he enjoys things that are unfinished. It is really, really hard for Hideaki Anno to write the script to the ending of his stories. I believe that he was super late. Like, he did not write his script in time for episode 25, so they had to resort to some weird recap stuff that didn't matter because the script wasn't ready in time. There's actually evidence for this in episode 26. They have some title cards that say we basically didn't have enough time to tell the story we wanted to tell, so here, have whatever this is. That's basically what they say there at the beginning of 26. Overall, it's a good show. Like, there's lots of cool stuff with the lore, and it's just fun to watch in general. But there is some stuff that I didn't like. I'm mad that there isn't a lot of payoff with the lore at the end. It's kind of just brought up randomly, and it's like, oh yeah, that was cool. Sweet. But, like, you could have done something with these massive reveals that you're giving to your audience. Like, why did we just reveal it and then end the show? Like, shouldn't the reveals have happened in episode 7? Like, why is it happening in episode 23? That made me kind of mad because, you know, I just watched a ton of a show that I thought was a popcorn show and didn't really matter story-wise. And then boom, actually we have a really good story that we're not going to do a lot with because we have 2 episodes left and Hideaki Anno can't write the end of the show. So we're just going to scramble and do something weird. The ending is not that good, so that brings it down to an 8 out of 10 for the Evangelion TV show. So talking about the end of Evangelion, this movie I have a very weird perspective on. Like, I don't think anybody shares my opinion. I thought it was definitely the worst, like absolutely the worst thing in the entire Evangelion franchise. I didn't like it, like, at all. It wasn't very fun. Some of that has to do with the way Hideaki Anno made this movie. It was basically the script for episode 25 and 26, except, like I said, he was late in the game. They didn't actually put it in the show. So it comes out in a theatrical release in a movie, except Hideaki Anno made it when he was really mad at the world, and even his fans. Like, Hideaki Anno actually received death threats from his fans. Like, nobody who's a fan of Evangelion wants to send a death threat to Hideaki Anno. But Hideaki Anno gets depressed. He, like, actually can't work for a little bit because he's like, wow, I am so mad at myself. Like, I didn't make a good ending to a TV show. Like, I'm bad. And so he was mad at himself, he was mad at his fans, he was mad at the world, and then he makes a movie about everybody dying in the most depressing way possible, and Shinji just slowly regressing into insanity and then causing the end of the world. But also, there's 20 minutes of sexual content because whatever, you can just casually throw that in there. I really don't like sexual content like at all, especially here, because it's just randomly thrown into the film and has no value whatsoever, and it just makes me mad. And I don't like this movie like at all. It's boring. I thought that it was pointless. The story ends in a way that I didn't care about. I thought Shinji was basically gaslighting himself into doing things that didn't make any sense for his character. Like, the way that Shinji acts in the end of Evangelion is very different from the way he acts at the end of the actual TV show. And so I gave it a 0 out of 10, honestly. I think that the TV show ending was 1,000 times better, but, that's just my opinion. But one thing I can say about the end of Evangelion unbiasedly is that it absolutely has the worst animation out of all of the Evangelion entries. Like, I was hyped for this movie because I saw a high mouse score, and I was like, oh yeah, the animation must be good. It's just a slideshow for the most part. Like, there's some animation that's kind of cool, but most of the animation is the angels at the end of the movie, and I hated them because they were gross and had a bunch of gore and killed everybody. It wasn't a very enjoyable experience for me, especially animation-wise, because it was just boring to look at. But that's enough about the end of Evangelion. Let's go to the rebuilds. I don't know why this movie was made. Like, it's a recap. It has basically the same content, except now it's updated in a 2000 anime style instead of the 1990s style. There's some CGI for the robots instead. The CGI is great, the animation's great, but I didn't enjoy the movie because it's just the same thing. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get out of it. Like, I've watched it already. It's just the first 5 episodes of the TV show. But I guess the biggest thing is Shiro Sajusu. He actually re-recorded the music, and the music sounds better. So that's something. Like, I gave it a 6 out of 10. Like, whatever. Like, move on with my life. It doesn't really matter. Evangelion 2.0. This movie slaps, guys. Like, I really, really, really liked Evangelion 2.0. The thing about Evangelion 2.0 that's super good is it kind of remakes, but then it doesn't. Like, there's 80% of the 2.0 movie is a remake, but also 20% of it is completely original, and most of that has to do with Mari. Like, Mari is the entire reason. Like, actually, there is no other reason. The only reason that I like the rebuilds is because Mari is in them. The thing about Mari is she basically gets rid of all of the expectations that the audience had with the first rebuild movie. Mari comes onto the screen and is like, hello, completely new character, doing crazy stuff, and I'm actually gonna change the story so that Shinji actually gets out of his hole in the corner and gets into the robot and tries to stop the end of the world. So Mari is basically a tool that is used to guide the story in a new direction so that the end of Evangelion doesn't happen again. There's also the fact that Mari stops Toji from dying because Toji is the 4th pilot in the first TV show, but he dies partway through in episode 19. And so instead of Toji being the 4th pilot in Rebuild 2.0, it turns into Mari. Like, Mari is the 4th pilot. So I just like the fact that, Toji isn't dead. For Evangelion 3.0, You Cannot Redo, I thought this movie was pretty good. Like, I think most people don't like this movie. It's the lowest rated movie on Mal. But I had a perspective on it, particularly relating to its music, that I think made me appreciate it more than most people. I thought that Kaoru is really cool. Like, Kaoru is this dude that is talking to Shinji. He's like motivating him to try and be a pilot again. Like, don't give up. Yes, you kind of messed up in the last movie. Yes, the near third impact happened, and now the world is in disarray, and there's red bubbles everywhere that are like gobbling up the world. Like, but also, Shinji, play a piano song with me. The thing is, the piano song is actually key to the story. Like, the way that Kaoru displays his musical prowess, and then Shinji is also there on the piano bench, and he's trying to contribute. He's like, oh, I have something in me. Like, even if the smallest thing I can do is play a few notes over and over and over again, at least I'm contributing to this beautiful song. And that is symbolic of Shinji not thinking that he can do anything right, and that Kaoru motivates him to try again and help him get the spear in the basement at the end of the movie. But the thing is, Kaoru is also like an angel, you know, and so he might actually be gaslighting Shinji, and is just trying to use him as a tool to get what he wants, which is really the spear. So Kaoru is kind of like a villain in that sense. I also liked Rei. Rei was cool because she had a personality that was very blank. It was clear that she barely understood emotion in general. And so when Shinji has his conversations with Rei, Shinji is thinking of the old Rei, but this is the new Rei, and so it creates this weird character dynamic that I thought was really interesting. And it was entertaining to watch. I liked the fight at the beginning of the movie. That was good. The end of the movie was pretty good. Mari is great. Every time she says something, it's just great. So the movie was a 9 out of 10 for me. It didn't feel like a 10 out of 10. It felt like, oh yeah, this was really good. So it's a 9, but it's not incredible or anything, except for the piano scene. I actually think the piano scene is the best part of that movie. And I thought it was really cool, so. Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Thrice Upon a Time. So this is part 2, so it's basically the same story as the third movie, except more. That's why there's a plus 1. The first half of this movie was a 10 out of 10. I loved the slice of life elements. I loved the deep dive into Rei's personality. I thought she was really fascinating, especially when she is feeling sadness for the first time. I loved that scene. I thought it was really funny when Asuka is like mad and frowning while playing a DS. Like, of course Asuka would be mad while she's playing a game. Like, it was really, really funny. It was really cool to see Toji, right? I mentioned in the second movie he survives, and so he shows up in movie 4. He doesn't do much, like he just sits there, but it was fun. Like, you get to see Toji. I also like the fact that, you know, his sister is a big part of the story, and she had a really good character design. I liked the way that her uniform looked, and she was just a nice person. Like, it's kind of refreshing to have a character as wholesome as Suzuka when everybody else in Evangelion is like a really messed up character. I ended up disliking the ending. It felt weird. It was just not. It was not it. Like, the ending has this weird spaceship chase scene and like shields. It felt like Star Wars all of a sudden. There's the confrontation at the end of the movie where Gento like monologues, and then okay, this one part I did like. Somebody just shoots him. Like, that's it. Like, no, you're not gonna finish your monologue. And I've wanted that to happen when I watch like other villain monologues. I'm like, how is he getting away with this? Like, you have all the opportunity to just point a gun at him, but it was funny just to see it in 3.0 plus 1.0. That was really cool. The dialogue didn't make a lot of sense to me. They were just talking about random stuff. I kind of just checked out. I was like, whatever. I mean, you can just end the movie now. Like, I don't care about what you're saying right now. And then some weird stuff happened, and magical whatever turned the world into a soft reset. And so now everybody in the world is fine, everything's okay, and Mari and Shinji have the ability to age, because that's something they revealed in 3.0, is the pilots, after they connect to an EVA, the pilots can't age anymore. And so, technically speaking, like, Shinji was asleep for 14 years between Evangelion 2.0 and 3.0. But Asuka still looks like she's 14 years old, and Mari still looks like she's, what, 15, 16, whatever. That's because they haven't aged during those 14 years. And so Shinji is technically 14 years old now, but it kind of makes sense because he's been in that capsule this whole time. But I think it's cool that the other pilots didn't age as well. And if you want to be a little sadistic, it's probably because they wanted to sell more anime figures. So they didn't want to change the characters that much. But I think that it's an interesting world building aspect, and it's resolved at the very, very end of 3.0 plus 1.0. And you see a more mature version of Shinji and Mari hanging out together. The movie was hit or miss. Like, I loved the beginning, wasn't hot on the ending. Was kind of surprised where, like, the credits ended up. Like, I'm happy that Shinji and Mari got together, actually, because I don't like Asuka that much, and Rei wasn't really an option. I think Mari is actually the best character in the Evangelion franchise, so I'm happy that she got a good ending. But it's a 7 out of 10 for Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. I thought it was good except when it wasn't. So that's all of the main anime entries, but I do want to go over the shorts briefly. Nyanko Jellion, the Battle Cats OP spoof. I love Nyanko Jellion so much. Everybody needs to watch it. I'll put it in the description of this video, but please watch it. Please, it's really good. Evangelion Death and Rebirth, I thought it was alright. Like, it's not very fun to watch because it's a recap again, but there is some interesting content related to the musical performances that I liked. I think it was like a 5 out of 10, maybe. The Petite Eva at School series, this was an 8 out of 10 for me. I liked it a lot. It's just not very good animation-wise, and so yeah, I would have given it a 10 out of 10 if it had better animation, but it is really gross looking. Like, it doesn't look good. I still love the comedy, though. I laughed a lot watching Eva at School. Evangelion, Another Impact Confidential. This is a 20 out of 10. I thought it was incredible. I loved it so much. I thought it was way better than a lot of the other stuff in the franchise, honestly. It's this short about a giant robot, like, going up and destroying some stuff, and it just looks incredible. Like, the art style that they used and the sound design, really, like, they have these great sound effects for the crashing of buildings and stuff. It was a great short. I had a lot of fun with it. There's a short called Until I Come to You. This was brilliant. It was really cool. I think it's another 20 out of 10 short. Like, I love it so much. It has this song that it plays that tells the story, because I think you have to read the translated lyrics to fully understand it. And then Rei is standing there, and it's called Until I Come to You, and you is like Shinji or Rei. They want to come to each other, which sets up the dynamic in the fourth movie, where they have this, like, meaningful relationship where Shinji literally comes out of the village and walks all the way over to Rei where she's fishing. Like, Until I Come to You. Like, it's a great title. So I just thought it was beautiful, great music, great art, and has a meaningful character story. Evangelion Hakata, this is the water fountain short. I love the way that the water is synchronized with the anime. It was really interesting. I'll put a link in the description because it has a YouTube video. But It had a great anime short. The music was good in the short. The characters were cool. You see the pink Eva, which is great. I love the pink Eva. I just had a lot of fun watching it. It was, I don't know, like 8 out of 10, I guess. Evangelion 3.0 minus 120 minutes. This is the manga, I believe. And the manga is all right. I mean, it has some good dialogue. It does set up a kind of character dynamic between Asuka and Mari that is a little bit deeper than platonic. And I just liked the way that they talked to each other. It was a really interesting back and forth. It's because they're super weird characters. So it was good. I gave it an 8 out of 10, I think, maybe 7. Evangelion 3.0 minus 46 hours. This is the one with the girl that's like randomly on top of a mountain for some reason, and she looks out and boom, there's all this red stuff and like the world's ending, and there's this Eva that's gonna come and squash her. The premise was weird, like I didn't really buy it, but it was cool. Like I liked the action, I liked the perspective of her running away while there's this giant mecha battle happening behind her. It was an interesting short, but it does have like a, wait, what are we doing here kind of vibe. So I gave it a 7 out of 10, maybe 8. It's all right. Now for Evangelion, the 30th anniversary special, this is definitely, definitely the best thing in the Evangelion franchise. It is so cool. I really, 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 really like the 30th anniversary short. It has this way that the characters speak to each other that is super interesting, because one of the Asukas is the TV series Asuka, and one of the Asukas is the rebuild 3.0 and 3.0 plus 1 Asuka. The way that the two alternate Asukas talk to each other is hilarious. It's Asuka versus Asuka. It shouldn't be that interesting, except they're different because of their different timelines. And technically, the rebuild Asuka might have an age of 28 years old mentally because of the 14-year time skip that happens. So you can technically have a 28-year-old Asuka from another timeline talking to a 14-year-old Asuka. Evangelion in a nutshell. Like, what? I love the way that it parodied how weird Evangelion is. It had great comedy, made me laugh super hard. There's some interesting teases with the romance that made me laugh. It was just a lot of fun, and it feels like this climax after watching everything else that, oh, here's your reward. You know, you've watched 10 hours of Evangelion content, now watch 10 minutes of peak, where we're just gonna make fun of the Evangelion franchise as a whole. Like, that is awesome. I loved it. It's the best thing in the franchise for me. It's that. I actually like Evangelion more than Evangelion 2.0, if I'm being honestly. Like, Evangelion is just really, really good. So those are all the shorts, and I will show this tier list that I have. When I was making this tier list, I didn't feel like putting the end of Evangelion in F tier would be appropriate, so I made some changes to the tier list, and it's fine if you like the end of Evangelion. Like, it's cool with me. I just hope you don't flame me in the comments for hating it, but thanks for watching my really weird and roundabout look at the Evangelion franchise. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. I'll be making a Pokemon video next. I've never made a Pokemon YouTube video, and so I'm gonna fix that. We're gonna pull packs in TCG Pocket for the immersive Sobble. Like, this is gonna be great.